Everyone. Welcome to Pibolic Notes. My name is Michael Kirkchin, and today is Tuesday, April the 5th, 2022. My vlog today is going to be on the research that I did on a token that I was looking to see if I should acquire it or not. So at the end, I decided not to buy it, and I will share with you my research and how I went about deciding not to go ahead and purchasing it. And afterwards, I will, I guess in a couple of months later on, I can do a follow-up vlog to see if my analysis was correct or if it was wrong. Before I get started, please, full disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I am a real estate investor. I'm also an investor in this cryptocurrency space. And my main profession is a commercial real estate brokerage. And I do invest in cryptocurrencies because I have a passion for them and I enjoy trading in them. So do not take any of this as financial advice. Do your own research and verify before investing anything with your own financial advisors. So let's get started and let me share with you my computer screen. Here we go. So the token I'm looking at is one that's called Stacks, and I will kind of show you where it's at today as far as its token price and so forth, and then we'll go into a deep dive. So Stacks is on CoinMarketCap, it's ranked at number 61 with the marketplace. It's got a token value of $1.39 today. If you look at this, how it's been behaving year to date, it looks like the price has varied from $2.25 to the high of approximately $2.32 to, I guess, a low of something in the range of $1.07. And so it's been kind of volatile this year because that's a big discrepancy going from really variation is quite a bit. And if I look at, let's say, over the past year, it looks like it was kind of the same thing. It's been varying up and down, going up and down. And obviously, if someone's a trader, they bought money if they bought low and sold high. What the token does, if you look at the history that we're looking at on Masari, so basically it's a Stacks is it's a software, formerly software internal ownership. It includes the infrastructure and developer tools to power computer network and ecosystem, and it does dApps. And it basically the history and everything you can read it yourselves, obviously on Masari. And basically what they do is the idea is very smart because they are running, they want to be running applications on Bitcoin. Currently, there's many applications that are running right now on Ethereum network, and these guys have been will be doing the same thing or are doing the same thing running on Bitcoin. And if you look at the actual details, I mean, they have had some big investors and lots of investors, a lot of capital. And I read somewhere as well that they were also involved with Y Combinator, and so obviously there's some very serious. If you look at over here, the investors itself. I mean, I see the name of Naval Ravikant, which is a big name in the space. They will look at some other names. We see Fabric Ventures, and we see Y Combinator. So there's some big names over here as the team of I guess money and investors behind it. So what I did naturally is the first thing I do in these kind of situations is kind of look at basically the charts, also just to get an idea about how things are working with the charts. So I didn't get much indications anyway with the charts. I mean, if I looked at the Stacks token versus the USDT, which is a stable coin, you know, it looks like, I mean, it's okay. I mean, really, I mean, it's been oscillating, let's say from 71 cents to all the way up to $2.20. So kind of it's been volatile, obviously, because it's got highs and lows. But this chart didn't give me much. And then if I looked at, let's say, if I compare SDX token versus the US dollar. Let's see if I went on Coinbase, again, it was the same thing, didn't really give me much, actually didn't give me anything really on Coinbase. So the daily chart was just a typical token behaving in a typical manner, and the weekly chart was actually less. Over here, it doesn't go that far into Coinbase, meaning that there's a good possibility that Coinbase didn't add this token until recently. The next thing I did was then I started looking at the on-chain analysis, and I will share with you the on-chain analysis that I did for this token. And obviously, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, because on-chain data is not 100% accurate, because on-chain can be manipulated, because as when we see addresses and so forth, wallets, one individual can have 10 different wallets, and meanwhile on the on-chain analysis that would not be seen. If we see 10 different addresses, we're going to assume that it's 10 different owners, but it could be one owner holding 10 addresses. So if I look at high level what's going on with the ownership, I noticed right away that a red flag to me personally is that I'm seeing that most of the owners of this token are holding big, the tokens are held by the big addresses. So basically there's 429 addresses over here that are holding 10,000 to 100,000 tokens of the SDX, and that represents 23% of the total supply. And then 100,000 to 1 million addresses are holding 30% of the tokens, meaning that there's 66 addresses that are holding 100,000 to 1 million SDX tokens, and this represents 30% of the tokens. And then 1 million to 10 million SDX token holders, there's 8 of them. So these are the whales, and these guys represent 37% of the total supply. So these guys are holding a lot of these tokens. And also, if I looked at, if I go back to Masari, I will show you as well over here. If you looked at what was going on with the actual supply schedule, Masari gives, which is excellent, is that it looks like it's also going to be coming. They're going to be still releasing more tokens, because if you look at today, we're at approximately April 2022. We're somewhere around here, and eventually the total supply of the tokens right now is something in range of around 1.3 billion. And as we fast forward towards the end of the release, it looks like it's going to be around 1.6 trillion. So that means all of a sudden you could be adding to the market additional, something like in the range of, if today I'm at 1.3 and we're going to be at 1.6, so that's going to be an additional almost 15, let's say 15% more supply. So that's going to be obviously diluting a bit the share price and so forth as well. So that's one item that right away I saw. And then if you looked at more analysis as far as the ownership and so forth, let's go into a deep dive. I'm going into the block, and into a deep dive, we see that 92% of the owners are in the money. So right away means that to me that, listen, if I've seen so much volatility with this token price, and 93% of are in the money, it means that these old addresses that have held these tokens for a long time, and that they haven't really traded much potentially, because they're all in the money. So it means that even with all this volatility, everyone is making money. With a normal token, especially if we see that the price was at a certain point was at $2.50, then it was hovering above $2 for quite some time here, going from, let's say, September until January. It means that there wasn't really that much new supply that come in to be basically buying these tokens. And if I look at, again, on this chart also, we see clearly how everyone's making money with this, of the current holders are making money with this token. And as I go down and see what's going on with the number of large transactions. So again, year to date, number of large transactions, this isn't giving me much. I mean, here it says like it's small, right? I mean, these are not massive transactions. And if I look at the volume, let's say over the last 3 months for large transactions, it looks like basically there's many days here where I was seeing total volume of 0, right? So I'm seeing that. I'm just not seeing too much liquidity, which is something that is a bit of a concern for me. And then if I go down and say to more data, let's say if I say daily active addresses, again, I'm doing on-chain analysis. Let's say if I go back to the last 3 months. So again, if I look at new addresses, which is the color blue here, I'm not seeing too many new addresses. So and also active addresses of addresses doing something. So I'm seeing here 15, then I'm seeing 13, then I'm seeing, so I'm not, these are not numbers that are really indicating to me that there's been a lot of activity going on with this token. And if I look at total addresses, again, it's not giving me much info. Really, if I look at, let's say, how many total addresses are there? If I look at, let's say, a year ago, it was something in the range of total with a balance, there was 17,000 of them. It was saying. So that this was basically, the date was April 10, 2021, around 16.9 thousand addresses that had a total with a balance. And I fast forward to a year later, it's almost the same number. So there hasn't been really growth here. So I'm looking at this, I'm just not seeing adoption the way that I would like to see it. And active addresses ratio last 3 months. So basically, again, it's showing to me, like, right? So this point, 0%, and then here at the high it was 0.11% active addresses ratio. Number of transactions last 6 months. Again, I'm seeing a bunch of like really zeros. So that's why I don't want to overdo this analysis. But basically, I'm looking at this, and then I see that the fact that I have the whales that hold 41% of the supply, and what a whale is, just for definition purposes, a whale owns more. With this website, which is Untitled Block, what they call a whale are those that hold more than 1% of the circulating supply. So what I mean is, if you look at the total supply today, and that was the volume that we saw earlier of around 1.2, 1.3 billion tokens. Of that total supply, 12 whales are controlling 41% of it. 116 investors are controlling 34% of it. And what those investors are owners or addresses that own 0.1% to 1% of the total supply. So again, if I add this up, 41% and 33%, so basically something like 74% of these addresses, of these tokens, are held by the large owners. And if I go down to retail, which the retail owners, retail is telling me that it's basically the address that own a retail address they own less than 0.1% of total circulating supply. And this retail volume, it looks like it's the balance, which is basically 25% of the owners. So again, to me, these are numbers that really give me that much confidence. So obviously this could change. So in this business, we realize that this is a dynamic business, that things can change really on a dime overnight. But as of today, which is, if we timestamp this to April 5, 2022, this token would be a pass for me. So in the next couple of months, I'll come back and revisit Stacks. Today's price of it is at $1.38 US. And let's see if this was a good analysis, or let's see if things change for it to have been a better investment. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And please don't forget to subscribe and to give your comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.